皆さん、Nice to see you again。ワインメーカー訪問の中止に伴い、ヴィレッジセラーズが開催したルーウィンエステートオンラインテイスティング第3話へようこそ。この10分余りのショートエピソードでは、第1話、第2話に収まりきらなかったルーウィンエステートのティムさんとのインタビューをまとめてお楽しみください。ティムさんにお伺いします。ティムさん、アートシリーズはすべて手作業収穫ですが、最近が非常に繊細な収穫期もありますし、またコロナウイルスの感染拡大を防ぐためにピッキングスタッフの距離を保たないといけないという面でも、機械収穫の方が便利なのではとも思われます。ティムさんのご意見をお聞かせください。
I think, if you were to have the optimum, you'd hand harvest because that's your first sorting point. So you have a dedicated team that spend many hours in the vineyard picking fruit, and they know what to see. And then firstly, we selectively sort that in the winery as well. So as opposed to a machine which will carry on, you might have certain parts of rows which you know that there might be a potential issue. You have a team of eyes looking at each and every individual bunch. Machine harvesting does have very strong merit, but not in art series.
世界的にもブドウがやけどしないようにわざと葉っぱで隠す生産者がいるって聞いていたりですとか、仕立て方に工夫を凝らして、ブドウの糖度をコントロールするっていうことを聞いたりするんですが、マーガレットリバーもそこに漏れないほど涼しいとはいえ暑い地域だとは思うんですね。なのでその地球温暖化、気温上昇に対して何か対策をしているのか、それとも、ボルドーのようにまた別の品種を考えていくのかということを、教えていただけますか。
Where we exist, being in the southwest corner of Australia, we're bound by the Indian Ocean and the Southern Ocean. And it's a really, really good question because it's something that we do constantly think about. We've gone back in records 20 plus years, and take for instance the 2019 vintage. It's one of the coolest vintages that we've had on record. And take the 2017 vintage, slightly cooler. The 2006 was pretty much the coolest vintage that we had on record. But we have the buffering capacity of the ocean. And if you were to draw a line, maybe 300 kilometers south of Augusta, you're starting to hit the roaring 40s. And that's this incredibly strong wind pattern that sweeps all the way around to South Africa. And because we're maritime, we tend to be buffered a little bit from climatic change. So it is something that we do constantly think about. It is something that we do look at overall, but we know what our great core varietals are. And, firstly for the estate, it's Chardonnay and Cabernet. I think what we're seeing now, and which is really exciting, and I'm pretty much one of the biggest ambassadors for it in Margaret River, is we're seeing Shiraz come online. And I'm not saying come online in terms of buying, I'm saying in terms of incredible quality. So we're not necessarily seeing it as evident as most, but there are minor subtleties that we're going, this is the best Shiraz that we've ever made. And it's like year on year on year. So I understand the question. I just don't see that Margaret River is experiencing it as more than other wine regions in Australia overall.
ティムさんは2005年からマーガレットリバーですが、ルーインエステートで仕事を始めるのは2010年からですね。ワインメーカーが変わってもアートシリーズに統一性を持たせるにはどのような配慮を行っていらっしゃいますか？
You just reminded me of when I first came to Margaret River. Yeah, it's a really good question, firstly. Yeah, I came into Margaret River late 2004, early 2005. And, you know, I worked, I'm originally from South Australia, that had worked through Victoria and visitations through Burgundy and so forth. And I think that the most important thing is to be true to the site and true to the land, because what we are is a conduit of showcasing sense of place. It's not just varietal expression, but you know, we're telling a story about, or the wine tells a story about, one, its variety; two, where it comes from; three, how it's handled in the vineyard; four, how it's conveyed in the winery. And the mission statement stays the same. It's about opulence and age-worthiness. It's about aromatics and it's about memory. And there's so many different ways that you might look on vintage to vintage and you'll see something different, and it's all about refinement. And when I started in Margaret River, I wasn't actually working too far from Lewin Estate. It was next door at Voyager. And I was there for 3 years as assistant winemaker, and then winemaker at Cape Mentelle for another 3 or 4 years after that. And I joined Lewin in 2010. And, you know, you see, you know, the vineyard gets older, the vines get older, they portray different characteristics, they show different identity from year to year. And it's not just climatic. You know, they mature, and they really show their pedigree. And I think, you know, when we look at the 2005 Art Series Cabernet today, it's going to be a vastly different wine to, I think we're finishing on the 2015, I think. And that comes down to oak as well. Like this, the cultural methods of, say, individual berry sorting, we didn't start doing until 2011. So we're looking at the parameters of individual berry sorting. So that's technology. Obviously, there's technology through the coopers as well. So the coopers that we're using in 2005 are very vastly different to what we're using now. And we've been really able to pinpoint and hone in on what we want. We want aromatics out of that barrel. We want structure out of this barrel. We want flesh and volume out of this barrel. And it's not just, this is Art Series Cabernet, these are all the barrels that we're going to use. It's like, these are all the parcels that we have, and these are the coopers that are going to work well within each parcel. And it's really being precise and OCD maybe. But that's what we're about, and I suppose Simone might say that's the art of winemaking. So yeah.
The Art of Winemaking 素晴らしいですね。ルーインエステートについて、またはアートシリーズについてもっとお知りになりたい方は、ぜひ第1話、第2話をご覧ください。ルーインエステートのワイン、そしてその他のファインワインのご購入にご興味のある方は、ぜひビデオの詳細にあるリンクからヴィレッジセラーズのホームページをご覧ください。お楽しみいただけましたでしょうか？ご意見お待ちしています。 または興味がある方にビデオをシェアしていただけますと光栄です。次回もまた同様のセミナーで皆様に楽しんでいただけることを願っております。では、Hope to see you soon!